I've shown you a few times before how we empty the garnet or sand out of this water jet cutter here. Now if you remember, it's not a clean process, it's quite involved. In fact, in case you've forgotten, I'll show it to you right now.
Back from the dead.
Okay, so you get the idea with that. It's better than shoveling it out with a spade or a shovel and what we've been doing before. It's back-breaking, it's not enjoyable, it takes a long time, and therefore it's costly. So, you know, but that other method, that, you know, it's an improvement, but it still takes a long time, you know, like the setting up, and it's messy. And we're probably going to be moving this machine to a newer workshop soon anyway, where we want to keep the whole thing, the whole operation cleaner. So, we've come up with a potential better solution. And when I say we, I mean someone else, i.e. my dad. He's thought of something that might work, and we're gonna try it, and I'll show you it right now. So we just received this through the mail today. I will open it up and show you what it is. Okay, so what this is a pump for a spa, or a jacuzzi, as people sometimes call it. We know it's gonna be pumping the sort of sandy, gritty water from in that water jet cutter, and so we're treating this as a sacrificial pump. We expect to go through one potentially even every few hours. Hopefully it's going to last longer than that, but even at that, it'll still be less hassle potentially, and cheaper potentially, and cleaner definitely, than, you know, by doing it by hand, doing it by, you know, the pumping method that I showed you earlier. So I don't know if it's going to work. To be honest, I don't quite know how it's going to work. I kind of do. Well, my dad saw the brains behind it, and he's going to sort that side of things out. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on this. It's funny, I've been assembling titanium mechanical pencils for quite a few hours today. I plan to do a really interesting video outside telling you a story, but unfortunately I had a phone call to make that took quite a long time, and the light went dark outside, so it's now night time. So, this is why I'm talking to you now, whilst assembling pencils, under really bad light conditions that will almost certainly be grainy when you watch this. Anyway, I was going to tell you the story, but I think I'll leave that for another day, when the lighting's good. What I'll do instead is tell you how I started making titanium stuff. A few years ago, I had to get a job. I was working for myself before, but I had to get a job because I had to get that to stay in New Zealand. I had to get a work visa, which I did. When I was at my job, I started looking at 3D printers. You know, they were just getting in the news at that time, and there was a lot of 3D printers being crowdfunded, particularly on Kickstarter, and so that's how I discovered Kickstarter. I got curious about Kickstarter, you know, because I'm not very good at budgeting, especially when I'm working for someone. I was definitely out of cash all the time, permanently, and so starting a business with no money is a little bit tricky. I found it tricky. So this crowdfunding was fascinating, where you get the money first and then you deliver the goods, quite literally deliver the goods afterwards. And so I got fascinated with Kickstarter, and I saw all these different projects that were getting funded to huge amounts as well, some of them to large amounts. There were role-playing games, which are like board games, kind of strategy type things. There were playing cards. There were, you know, pens, little wallets, slim wallets, things like that. And they were all doing really well. Most of them were doing well. The thing that grabbed my attention though were little pocket tools and things like that, especially if they were made out of titanium. They did really, really well. And I saw some and I thought, I could do better than that. I mean, that sounds arrogant, and it is arrogant, but it was true. So I felt it was true. And, you know, I couldn't shake that off. I ordered one small sheet of titanium from America. I don't think I'd ever touched titanium before. It was just amazing. And, you know, from there, I had a little piece of water jet cut. I ground stuff by hand. I made a very, very rough tumbler out of my washing machine, or I used my washing machine to tumble a bit of metal. Lots of small things, but I ended up launching my first Kickstarter project, and then a second one, and a third one, and, you know, started making sales on my website. And that's really how I got started. That's like the long and short of it. I mean, there's probably a lot of detail I've missed, but that's really it. I don't know if that's of interest to you, but hey, I got 4 pencils assembled while I told you that story, so multitasking.